Hey, what's up guys? So in today's episode of how to get better at Yu-Gi-Oh, we are going to be talking about sometimes it is not your deck's fault and you don't actually need to change your deck. It is just out of your control to actually change the way the game is going to be played simply because of one of two things. One, you opened up bad. Two, your opponent opened up good. Or you just happen to have the worst luck possible and they just happen to have the exact cards that counter your cards. And a lot of players are going to feel this way because of Lightsworn. Now, Lightsworn is one of the most popular decks. It's the most played deck, I would say, in the current game state, just because it's relatively inexpensive and it's relatively easy to play, and it pulls off really good, simple combos like Judgment Dragon blow up the field. Now, first off, I do want to mention sometimes it is your deck's fault. For example, if you're playing something like Ice Barriers or something like Crystal Beasts, those decks are just outdated. I'm talking about, other decks that simply just lose to other decks. Like, for example, if Hat-Tricks loses against Lightsworn, if Lightsworns lose to Hat-Tricks, the player that's playing whatever deck they're playing, they can have the mindset that my deck wasn't good enough, I should be playing that deck. And I myself have done it, whether it's been in other games, such as like League of Legends, for example, like Malzahar. I looked at this guy, I was like, this guy is the most OP champion ever. He goes ahead and he spams your stuff and he ultimates you, and you can't do anything unless you have like Banshee's Veil or something to stop it. You just lose. Like, it's just like, oh, congratulations, you lose because Malzahar is Malzahar. And the thing is, sometimes you just get in a bad matchup and you just happen to not use your skills at the right time. You can't Shunpo, you can't use your skill to escape out of the combo, and you're just going to lose. And sometimes that just happens. It's not necessarily due to lag, it just happens. Sometimes you're not paying, perfect attention. But even if you're paying perfect attention, sometimes I feel like in other games, for example, like in Call of Duty Black Ops, the M8A1, it's a really fantastic gun, and sometimes whoever has host just warm bursts you so fast. And this build is awful, so don't think this is Asianized, but I wouldn't do Flak Jacket, Toughness, Tack Mask, and what the heck is Rapid Fire, or Select Fire doing on that? I would much rather have Lightweight, Toughness, Dexterity, what is, meta. But this is the thing, sometimes whoever has host just has a better connection. That's just out of your control if you're not playing on land. It just happens to happen, that's just part of the game, and unfortunately, sometimes if you, get wrecked by the M881, just because the person has host doesn't mean that they are necessarily better than you. It just happens to, give them a favorable matchup. Just like, sometimes whether you're playing Trap Tricks, a lot of players talk trash about this deck, saying, I played the deck, it's not good. I mean, it just won, so a lot of players are kind of changing their mindset on that. But the thing is, if you've played this deck, sometimes you open up with multiple Mortal Tech and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Now I can't use my Sanctums, I have to set them, and just bad things can happen. It just happens in all of the decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! So one thing you can do to improve upon your Yu-Gi-Oh! Skills is just keep in mind that sometimes it's just out of your control and you don't have to change decks, and you don't even have to change some of the cards in your deck. I know sometimes you open up with cards and you just can't use them, for example, like Wolf or something like Necrogarden, but that is part of the deck. It's part of, the risk reward aspect of a deck like Lightsworns. There's other decks that have risk reward effects as well, like, for example, Titanium was not a very good card to draw, but yeah, like I said, guys, it's just a example, and to help you guys kind of get better at this game by letting you guys know that you don't have to change your deck. Like I said, if there's something, like if you're trying to build a structure deck and you're using 3 copies of the Invincible Fortress, yes, I understand at some points there are times where you need to change decks, but I'm talking about the meta as a whole. Like, if you know what the meta is, like if you're playing something that's relatively meta, like Yugioh, like Hat-Tricks, like Lightsworn, something like a Mermail is just a meta deck in general, Dragon Ruler, sometimes it's not your deck's fault, and that's what you have to keep in mind. And just stick with your deck sometimes, maybe make a few adjustments, maybe if you want you can go ahead and try a different deck completely, but like I said, it's just keeping the mindset that sometimes it's just out of your grasp. You can't win those games no matter how good you play. And if you guys haven't checked out yesterday's video, which is an excellent example of where I totally got sacked by this Lightsworn play, like he milled so many cards, like he went 3 times. It was only, I think it was like turn 6 in the game, and he went 3 times, and he was already about to deck out. Like, he just went so fast, and my deck just, couldn't keep up with him. I just didn't happen to draw the right cards at the right time, and it's an excellent example, so if you guys want to check that out, link down below in the description box. But keep that in mind, guys. Sometimes you will get sacked in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which means that sometimes it just favors your opponent over you, whether it's something like a bad lane matchup, like in League of Legends, or if they happen to have hosts in a first-person shooter game, or a game where, seeing who first actually matters a lot. But like I said, guys, hope this helps you guys out. Because Lightsworn is so so popular, I figured I'd make this video because I know a lot of newer players are jumping in the game and they get wrecked by this and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to play Lightsworn. But then you go play Lightsworn and you realize that it doesn't open up super sexy every single turn. It's just sometimes your opponent just shows you how good they can be and it just works out in that favor. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want to check out the previous episodes of Get Better at Yu-Gi-Oh, you can check the description box below. But thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you newer players as well as some of you veteran players realizing that it's not your deck's fault at sometimes. It's just sometimes the way the cookie crumbles. But thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.